So I haven't taken up cattle ranching in Australia or any such thing like that. We've just had a massive deluge, thunderstorms, pouring of rain, flash flooding on site, and to be honest, I needed something to stop getting on my head because that really winds me up. Even though I'm soaked through, I'm wheezing with asthma. So I've just been feeding these guys, and a video that, well, as you know, if you watch the channel, the reptile room's all been changing. It's moved to another room. We've downsized, and something we never did a video on, and now they've gone to a friend, the Amazon tree boas. And the reason is I like to grow snakes on from hatchlings or live birth, and then do a how-to video, how I found things that work, how I haven't, to help you guys or anyone that's interested. They were only sort of, I don't know, one was with large juveniles. So unlike a mangrove snake that's now sub-adult, I'd say, they've grown well, but not big enough to do the full-on video. So they've gone, missed an opportunity, so I'll tell you what I know. First off, I kept my three litter mates together. I had three different colours from the jungle room, and these are naturally occurring morphs, if you like. They're variable species in the wild, different colour phases, very different. Three different colours, three different growth rates. So one of them grew really well and was a spectacular animal and was quickly onto sort of bigger mice, adult mice, day-old chicks cut in half to fully grown to whole day-old cockerels, and it was doing really well. Something I did notice, they had different preferences. So they started on rat pups and fuzzy mice. The smallest one, even offering things like chick legs, which a lot of these things like, it really liked those little rat pups, didn't really want fuzzy mice, and it was so picky, even with scenting, didn't want to know too much, so it stayed really small. The next one up was similar, but then started onto sort of small and medium mice, and it's once they're onto sort of an adult-sized mice, hatchling snakes tend to really start growing much better. There's way more nutrients and calcium in an adult mouse than, say, a pup or a rat pup or a pinky, or even a fuzzy. So they grew at completely different rates, depending on how we could cajole them into eating and their eating habits, which you'd expect. However, they did stay together most of the time. So I would feed them and then drop feed overnight, extra food. And what tends to happen, of course, if you've got a good feeder, it will probably snuffle up all the food that's been drop fed before the smaller snake that's picky even goes looking. So did the small one eat drop fed food? Probably not. Is that because it wouldn't take drop fed food? I think so, but it could well be that the other one truffled it up. So when you cohab snakes, really got to be careful around feeding for sure. Why cohab them? Three different colour Amazon tree boas in a naturalistic setup, all perched up in the day. Way more interesting than just one. Did they like it? Loads of places to hang out, literally. Nothing to do with heat gradients or light gradients. Those guys actually often curled up together, intertwined. So they certainly got on fine. Very interesting to watch when you do cohab snakes. There's a big video at the end of this video, hopefully, of my findings on cohabbing. In America, you see no you don't, you see Amazon tree boa YouTube videos, and they will talk about, you know, might have a backpack sprayer because you've got a collection of them, you're spraying every evening, soaking those enclosures to get the humidity up. Here in the UK, my reptile room, 56, 65% humidity most of the time. And what I noticed is in exoterra type enclosures where you can have a naturalistic setup, have a compost layer, live plants, stuff going on, even springtails and things, bioactive. It made no difference whether I sprayed them or not. I always had a water bowl. I would spray them maybe once a week. They'd sometimes lap off that. But they shed out perfectly because there was a humidity there anyway, coming from the substrate. I tried them in a bigger wooden vivarium where the substrate was slightly damp, but you can't go beyond that because of the wood vivarium. A large water container. If I didn't soak them down through the shedding process, they'd shed much more poorly. But overall, something else I noticed, as they settled into their environment, as they matured and grew, shedding problems when they were younger, where they'd be a bit patchy, I'd even have to soak them sometimes. Yeah, in the bioactive or the glass enclosures with a damp substrate. Never had any shedding problems at all. Now, mangrove snakes, they're not something you tend to handle. I guess it stresses them out. They're not keen on being handled. This guy's handled when I need to handle him, and he's fine. He's snappy, but fine. People say with Amazon tree boas, oh, they're not for handling. I'd say they're the same as this. These captive bred ones are no different to any other snake. Nothing like Blue Beauty. They're not snappy like people say. They're no more snappy than a snappy snake. Get them out, handle them, they don't snap. Viv defensive, yes. If you're scared, it's worked, you've left them alone. Just pull them out. Pull them out from small. Mine were completely handleable. They weren't snappy at all. All of them were fine to handle, but they probably seem to enjoy it as much as this guy. A little bit more, maybe a little bit more shy. And the one thing on that note of shyness I would say is, mine were all forceps fed. That's when they preferred to feed, off of forceps. Always after dark. They wouldn't entertain food much in the day. Leave them an hour after dark, go in on the low light and feed them. And those guys were a different snake, much like the mangrove. This is an adult, not an adult, sub-adult. It's eating in the day to day. It's looking for this last bit of food. But mangrove snakes, when they're young, you're much better off trying to feed them after the lights have been out for a while on a low light. And I found the Amazon tree boas, certainly as youngsters, very similar. And I'm sure as they matured, they'll probably be much bolder to give away their position, if you like, and strike feed or drop feed as they grow. I don't know. I can only know what people tell me. This channel's about what we know, not what we just parrot fashion repeat. Would I recommend Amazon tree boas? For me, it would be yes, if you like lovely naturalistic setups and you want a beautiful rainforest look, a beautiful piece of art with a stunning snake as that eye-catching finale. That's what I prefer. I don't like collections of things in sterile containers, but I know for some of these snakes that people keep that are more specialist than I keep, that's the way to go for real success. But for me in Africa, God damn it, they're not from Africa. An Amazon tree boa would be a snake as a centerpiece of a really beautiful display, rather than trying to cram them in things because you've got overburdened with animals. Nice enclosure, set up for the snake, but for your enjoyment. Again, living art. That's where, to me, they fit in. That's what I like about the mangrove snake. Catch you later. Who knows what the next video will be? Subscribe, you'll find out.